Chief Justice Raymond Zondo has now met Parliament's presiding officers after saying last week that state capture could happen again if the recommendations of the report he wrote are not implemented by Parliament. Zondo was speaking last week during the first anniversary of his handing over of the final chapters, looking at how institutions were hollowed out, at times at the behest of officials working in government. The National Assembly Speaker, Newzroom Afrika, and the Chair of the National Council of Provinces, Ms. Zondo, then called this urgent meeting with the Chief Justice. Our senior political reporter, Zondo, is at Constitution Hill, where the meeting is taking place. Zondo, good afternoon. What's happening there?
Well, Stephen, it's been 3 hours that the media has been camping, waiting for that photo opportunity of Chief Justice Raymond Zondo and the presiding officers, of course, led by National Assembly Speaker Newzroom Afrika. It's unclear why we would have had to have waited so long, given the fact that we're just supposed to get a few remarks and leave. But we're told that the officials are on their way to come and brief us as the media. But, Stephen, the critical part about this gathering, of course, being about those remarks made by the Chief Justice, wherein he has raised concern around the pace at which the recommendations that he made in that state capture report and the implementation thereof, that it's happening. Lots of criticism and some praise being heaped on the Chief Justice, some saying that he's crossed the line. The fundamental principle of separation of powers, needs to remain intact. He can't, as the head of the judiciary, be commenting on the performance of the legislative arm of the state, but others have commended him for really using that one-year anniversary to actually speak about this, because they're saying that the moment requires, the country to reflect on the legislation around protecting whistleblowers, etc. Stephen, we're just going to turn our camera because we can now see some of the officials that are coming. In fact, I just see Moloto Mothapo, who speaks on behalf of Parliament, so we might not actually be getting those officials. So Moloto Mothapo will perhaps clarify for us the nature of the meeting. Of course, we know that tomorrow there will be a comprehensive media briefing to discuss what came out of the meeting and what they've agreed on. So let's bring in Moloto Mothapo.
No, firstly, colleagues, let me thank you for your patience. I know that you have been sitting here for hours waiting for the outcome of this important meeting between the presiding officers and the Chief Justice. We must confirm that, as you know, the meeting has taken place. It has just concluded. And there is a brief statement that has been circulated to you. It is a joint statement that represents the sentiments, the views, and of course the tone of the discussions that have taken place in that meeting. The parties to the meeting have decided that we must hold in abeyance any briefing regarding, comprehensive briefing regarding what transpired today, other than what has been circulated to you briefly. However, as you know, the presiding officers have planned a media briefing tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock at Tambo Airport, where everything will be disclosed, everything will be said regarding both the discussions that have taken place here, as well as the comprehensive report regarding the status of the implementation of the state capture recommendations by Parliament. So, for now, we are apologizing that we could not have the presiding officers coming to brief you. However, everything will be said tomorrow as part of the media briefing. So tomorrow the presiding officers will deal with what transpired today, as well as the comprehensive report by Parliament insofar as the implementation of the recommendation of the State Capture Commission report is concerned.
Mr. Mothapo, will that briefing include Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, or will it just be the presiding officers of Parliament?
Yeah. Now, as you know, we always observe the separation of powers. And the Chief Justice, we don't want to speak for the institution. I'm sure they have got their own processes on how they engage with you. We can't dictate that. But the presiding officers representing the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces will have all the time with you tomorrow to engage with you on these matters that I have referred to.
And I'd like to note, how is the mood of the meeting?
I think, given the nature or the tone or how the statement was written, because I was not in the meeting, I was with you here, there were fruitful discussions, and I think the discussions seem to have been quite robust, but very cordial as well. But like I said, I don't want to make assumptions and guess what could have happened inside there. The presiding officers will be able to tell you tomorrow.
So there's no united front, that the one that was probably planned with the photo op, because the photo op commitment was that we'd get Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, the presiding officers, together. Now you're telling us that only the presiding officers, which implies we'll only get one side of the story during the media briefing tomorrow, because they could tell us one thing, but then maybe the Chief Justice will have another version of how the meeting took place.
Yeah, and I think that is the nature of journalism, isn't it? You get one side of the story, and then you go and get another side of the story. So if we are misrepresenting the Chief Justice or the spirit of the meeting, I'm sure the Chief Justice, as a department, they will be able to correct us. So I don't think that there should be a problem with regard to that. But like I said, we apologize that we could not do as we had initially planned. But tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we will have all the time with you guys and give all the information that we believe you deserve to get.
All right, that's Moloto Mothapo. He speaks on behalf of Parliament, of course. He wasn't in that meeting, but is speaking on behalf of his bosses. That would be Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula and Amos Masondo of the National Council of Provinces. Very interesting that we never got that photo opportunity with the three of them as initially planned. So even Moloto coming to address us right now was not a part of the plan. The statement he speaks of, Stephen, 3 paragraphs, basically saying that following certain media reports over the past few days, they decided to discuss matters of mutual interest, and they've described in this 3-paragraph statement to have had a fruitful meeting this afternoon in which their discussion was characterized by frankness, mutual respect, courtesy, and appreciation of the roles of the institutions they represent. And then it says the Chief Justice, the Speaker, and the Chairperson of the NCOP have agreed to regular meetings in future to discuss matters of mutual interest. Now, of course, the key question is, why couldn't these meetings have taken place beforehand, before the Chief Justice had to sound the alarm, really, or some would say him overstepping on crossing the line? And so we'll probably get those answers as well once we get to engage with the presiding officers tomorrow at 11 o'clock.